Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, fa bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Indeed, all praise and thanks are due to Allah, and peace and blessings be upon His Messenger. Proceeding to the video, we begin with Allah's name, subhanahu wa ta'ala, so peace be upon you, welcome and greetings. Now we're going to jump into mud, and this will be covered, this topic will be covered in the next few videos, inshallah. And so mud really means elongation or prolongation or whatever you want to call it. So when we elongate something, we're going to make its sound a little longer. So all that really means is first we're going to need to understand the word haraka. So in Arabic, this is basically something that means tempo count. Meaning, if I give you beats per minute, something like that. So your tempo can be fast like this, or it could be slow like this. And your tempo is basically dissected based on the speed you're reciting. So if you're reciting at Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin, then your tempo is really pretty fast. If you're reciting like Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, then your tempo is really slow. So that's all the tempo is, or a haraka is just based on, a default of 1 based on the beat of the minute per second, or beat per minute. So then when we know the haraka now, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, with the permission of Allah, we can come to understand the muds. So there's quite a few different muds, and in this video and the next few videos, inshallah, we'll be covering Maddul Asli. And this is basically the short elongation. So we're going to make a noise long, but only 2 haraka. And by the way, 1 haraka is default for every word. So if I give you the word ka-ta-ba, the ka is 1 haraka, ta is 1 haraka, ba is 1 haraka. So also there's quite a bit of shapes for the letters as well. Or there's quite a bit of shapes for the mud as well. So we're going to cover the first one now, inshallah. And before we start, we're going to have to know that there's 3 letters for mud. And those are alif, waw, and ya. So for this video, inshallah, we'll be covering the alif. And we'll begin right now, inshallah. So we'll take the word kitabun. So if you look at the kaf, you see a kasra. If you look at the ta, you see a fatha. And then you have an alif right after the ta. And then you have a tanween on the ba. Dhammatain, 2 dhamma. So when we look at this, we should try to understand that alif doesn't have any marking on it. So we're going to have to try to understand what is it trying to tell us. So there's no sakoon. There's not a shadda or anything like that. There's no tanween. It's just, there's nothing on it. So when you see an alif after a fatha, so we're going to call this a link. When you have any letter with a fatha, and the letter right after is alif without a marking, that means mud. That means prolongation. So when we have that prolongation, what we want to do is try to make the ta, or the letter with the fatha, we have to stretch it out. So instead of saying kitabun, we're going to say kitabun. So we're just going to stretch the noise out a little bit. And also a shorthand way of writing this is like this. And this is used in a lot of areas, but one of the prevalent ones is in my language, we call this the kari zabar, the standing alif. So this is what it looks like. Kitabun. So if you notice, the alif is no longer coming after the ta now. But if you look at the ta, now it's like a rotated fatha. Like there's a little baby alif on top of the ta. So basically this is the same. The two words you see on the screen are the top and the bottom. So what you see here is the same thing. It's the same as what you see over here, and they're read the same exact way. I would read the top kitabun. I would read the bottom kitabun. So they're both read kitabun. Sometimes you might see in the Quran, you'll see something written like this with a little standing fatha after on top of any letter. So that just means that you have a fatha followed by alif. So if I give you, for example, Ra with fatha, you know that that's basically saying ra with fatha and followed by alif. So if I give you a standing fatha, then you have ra fatha with alif. That's all it really means. So that's one of the things. Now another part where you can see the same kind of thing is the ya without the dots with the standing in fatha. This is what we call alif maksura. You'll see this on quite a bit of words, also on prepositions and things. So the word ala, which means on, you'll see that the ya without the dot and the standing fatha. So this word is ala, ala. So we're not just gonna say ala, ala. We're gonna say ala, ala. Just prolong it just a little bit. So that's 2 haraka. A, 1 haraka, la, 2 haraka. It's basically as simple as that. So now we can go into one exception for this. If we take the word I in Arabic, this is how it's written. Alif, fatha, nun, fatha, followed by alif. But this is a special word and it's an exception, so we're going to put a star on it because when we say the word I in Arabic, meaning what you see on the screen, it's pronounced ana. We're not going to prolong the noon. So we're not going to say ana, ana, ana. So that's why sometimes in some Quran, in some copies of the Quran, you'll see a little dot on top of the alif or a little circle to indicate like a hole to tell you that this alif is silent. It's not playing a role. And that's not a fatha. It's not going to tell you to say ana, ana. Or you might just see it written like this and there's nothing on the alif. Still, you're going to have to know that this is the word ana, and that means I, and the noon is not elongated. So we're not going to say ana. We're just going to say ana. So that's pretty much the rules for the elongation of the fatha with the Maddul Asli, the short elongation for about 2 haraka. And inshallah, in the next 2 videos, we'll cover the kasra and the dhamma, and then we'll cover different types of mad in the videos thereafter, bi'idhnillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.